Hey everybody, Mikeycat Outdoors here. So what are we doing today? I'm doing a quick review of a UCO candle replacement. It's got a little wick in here, and you fill this up with lamp oil and you replace a candle with it for one of your UCO lanterns. All these tiny little guys here. So let's check it out. Alright everybody, I've been in the market for this for a little while. There were a few guys probably a year or two back that I'd seen that were making their own little candle replacements for these little candle powered lanterns. And UCO is one of these companies. They make cute little candle powered lanterns and stuff for backpacking and whatnot. They got a single lantern and they got a 3 candle lantern. So this is a single candle lantern, and basically it's just one of these little things where you can kind of push it down or pull it up, open the globe and so forth. And then I got one of these big ones, which is basically a larger version, and it's got 3 candles in there. And you can kind of see they're in there right now. So about a year or two ago, I came across a few guys online. They were creating little lamp oil modules with little canisters to basically replace the candles. So this is one of the paraffin candles. They also have beeswax candles, and this is a similar sized little container. I bought this one off of Etsy, and I'll put the information down below so you can see where to get them. These are probably in about the $24 range for this particular guy. I'm sure you can find containers or make one yourself, maybe a little cheaper, but I don't have the time for that. So this one's made fairly well and it fits really well. So what the big problem that a lot of people have is you've got this base here, and you've got your spring and your little part here that normally your candle is going to fit on, and that goes down into this container that's inside the lantern, and that kind of screws on to the base here. And so that's usually how it goes, and then that goes up inside your lantern. Screw in there, you know, you light it before you put it in, and then you pop up your thing whenever you're ready to start using it. But anyways, what happens is when these candles are burning, they're pretty good at staying up here because of that spring keeping them forced up. But any of the wax that melts comes down and it drips all inside here. It gets inside this container where the spring is. Eventually it can get around the outside, and so when this thing is shut, this thing will get coated with wax, and it can just be a royal pain in the butt to try to get this thing apart. You can take hot boiling water and melt your wax out if you get it that dirty, which is what I had to do with this one. The regular paraffin candles aren't as bad. The beeswax ones are a royal pain in the butt to clean up after. So they do have their place. You know, you can make candles, you can get molds, you can buy candles from UCO or other places. I mean, they're cheap, but some folks decided, hey, I want to go the lamp oil route. So the paraffin lamp oil that you get for like a regular old, you know, hurricane lantern or something, you can put that in here, and this fits a decent amount, but it's got a wick, and it's a fairly respectably long wick. But I burned this the other night for maybe an hour and a half, and it did all right. Just maybe burned 3/4 of an inch of fuel or something out of it. But in the lid, there's a little O-ring there, and then up here on top, there's another little O-ring right up here near the wick, and you can just pull out just a tiny little bit of wick. You don't need a whole lot to get a really good flame on it, so you don't have to go overboard with it. But it comes with a little screw-on cap, so that way it kind of seals it, keeps it, you know, nice and moist when you're not using it. And it also has this other adapter, so when you take this cap off, if you want to store that cap somewhere, you can mate it to this other piece that comes with it, and it's got a little keychain thing on it, so that way you don't lose it. Makes it nice. But I tried this out and it worked fairly well. Had it on a table, had it hanging up in a tree. Wanted to see, you know, if you had a heat sink or if you didn't have a heat sink, would it affect this plastic base? Well, the good thing is when you put this in place of this candle, that spring is going to keep this sucker up enough to where there is a certain amount of gap there that's not going to touch that plastic plate. So there's a little bit of thermal separation there, so you don't have to worry about this plastic really melting on you. And then you just kind of screw it in there, and then you can light this bad boy up. Come on, buddy! Trying to do this on a windy day. Too windy. So with the power of magic and movies, we've got this sucker lit. I had to pull the wick out just a little bit, just because it was down in there for whatever reason with the wind and everything. It didn't want to light right away, but you can see that's a pretty respectable flame in there. This sucker will last several hours easily. I'm not sure yet what the total burn time is. Might vary too, depending on weather conditions, temperature, and whatnot, but I know this sucker is gonna go well over 3 hours easily, because I filled it up maybe 3/4 of the way full, and I probably only burned like 2 centimeters, not even an inch, you know, say 3/4 of an inch of fuel over an hour and a half. So it's not a huge reservoir, so it's not like you're gonna have, you know, probably as long of a life as one of these, but you're still going to have a decent amount of light for a long enough period of time to use it. So I tested this in a couple different conditions, like say with putting it on something like a table to soak the heat up, leaving it up in a tree just to see what would happen, you know. And like I say, there's a separation distance between the base and where the bottom of that canister is. So I didn't really even, on this little holder canister here that it fits into, I can touch that and it's not even hot. Now the cylinder itself over time might get a little warm, but it wasn't like hot enough to cause me any real concerns. So I wanted to do some safety testing before I did this review, and I say you can kind of, I don't really recommend that because I'm getting my globe dirty, but you can kind of tip it a little bit and it's not like glugging out or anything. So if you accidentally tipped it over for a second or two, your tent's probably not going to burn down with it. I wouldn't leave it like that all night, but same way with a candle. So the gentleman I bought this from on Etsy, it's based out of Hong Kong, and I'll put the info down below. I don't remember if his name's Goboseller or something like that. Anyways, I'll post it up down here. But you could get this in like a 1-pack or a 2-pack. So I just bought a 1-pack for this just to try it out, see what I thought about it, and then decided, yeah, it's worthwhile enough. So I ended up buying 2 plus another to make the 3 for this guy, and I'll be getting those sometime soon. But the gentleman who's selling these, very quick in getting them out, at least from my experience. So things were in stock. They kept saying stuff like, oh, there's only 1 or 2 left, and it's in like 5 or 10 people's carts. Well, I went and bought them, you know, just do the standard payment and stuff, and boom, you know, it's like later that day, boom, I'm getting messages on Etsy already that, hey, you know, confirmed address, you know, if it's like 1, you're fine. If it's 3, they're gonna try to do air shipment, so they might need the phone number, stuff like that. So it goes through USPS and tracking and all that, right? But just a little bit of communication like that going on back and forth for that first day. And then it's like within the next day, boom, that stuff's like scent. So it really didn't even take that long to come here. It was probably like a week and a half or something at most. Most things I would get from like mainland China would take like a month. For this to come from Hong Kong and only take like a week and a half, I mean, that's not bad. So give kudos on that. And the thing seems to be built fairly well. It's got nice knurled finishes where it needs it. It's, you know, decent. This one does come in 3 colors. They have a black, they have the silver, which is what I got, and they also have like a brass. Now, I haven't bought the other 2 to know if that's just like a painted or coated finish, or if the brass is actually brass itself. I don't know. That's something you could always ask him if you're really curious about it. And like I said, he seems to be fairly responsive to folks. But so far this has been pretty good, and I'm looking forward to using it on a few trips, just because, like I say, when I try to put a candle in this thing, and the candles are nice, but when all that stuff drips down and just gets gunked up in here, it just makes this a royal pain in the you-know-what to clean. So this makes it a little nicer. You can get lamp fuel, you know, Walmart, Academy Sports, places like that. Maybe $7, $8 for a big bottle of it. I mean, it'll last you quite a while. So, you know, these little UCO lanterns, normally you'll take these types of candles, you know, you can get them in like boxes of 3 if you get the name brand ones. There's folks online that sell generic versions, and like I say, you can get candle molds to make your own too. But these generally aren't too bad, but you know, you get a few boxes of these, you got a bottle of lamp oil, potato, it's probably gonna work out about the same. So anyways, if you think this is something that you want to add to your outdoor arsenal, I'd say by all means go for it. I'm sure there's other sellers out there. If you find containers that you think you can make one of these safely enough, safety is the key. You know, it's a neat little project. I saw Simon, bloke in the woods from the UK, he made one out of a little canister. I said about a year or 2 back, and I saw some other gents from the UK side of things making these, but I'm not really into doing machining and all that stuff, and this was already made, had the nice cap, had the seals, had everything. It's well put together. Price wise, yeah, in a perfect world it would be half the cost, but you know, buy once, cry once. It's built really well. This one's also got an extra wick with it, and I mean, that wick's pretty long to begin with, so that's gonna last a while. And you know, you got an extra wick, you just feed it on through at some point in the future when you need it, and you know, this thing's golden. So got the UCO Candelier on the left. It's got 3 actual paraffin candles in it, and then my little UCO pop-up lantern here on the right with the oil insert. So the thing that makes this Candelier one really nice with the 3 candles, that puts off a bit of heat, so you can kind of use that for heating your tent a little bit in the winter. Or it's got that nice base there, you can actually put a cup or something on there and heat up some water or do a little light cooking by the power of a candle. Anywho, if you like what you've seen, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, give me a thumbs up, hit that notification bell, get notified of new content when it's available. I'll catch you again in the outdoors. As always, thanks for watching.